Hi, I'm Ben Quiggle, editor of Woodall's Campground Magazine, and this is another episode of Supplier Showcase. And today we are talking with Bobby Sorden, the CEO, president, whatever you want to call it, founder of Supplier Spot, which is a new, sort of directory online. You can find it at supplierspot.com. And many in the industry might know Bobby from his time at Firefly, and he's moved on to this new role. So this is exciting. Bobby, I guess when did you guys officially launch the website for this?
I officially launched it on March 5th, so just a little over a month ago.
Yeah, and I mean, like I mentioned, Supplier Spot. I think you said you started it as initially kind of a directory, and now it's kind of morphed into what it is right now, where you can kind of go online, find a company. You can even buy products on there. And I think you even have the ability for people to kind of leave comments or review their kind of service that they get from the companies, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit different than some other sites out there that
Yeah.
are specifically about reviews, but the reviews on here is mainly for like there's a transaction between a supplier and a park owner. Like, yeah, Utility Supply Group did a great job with shipping me out my pedestals, or something like that. That's what the
Okay.
reviews
Yeah.
mainly based on.
Okay. Yeah. And here, let's pull, I think the visual works really well
Yeah.
so that people can see it. So we'll pull up the screen here. Give me a second. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is the front of the website here, and I like that scenery. I need to find me a camping spot like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I live in Colorado, but we love the ocean. So I found this picture and I was like, I've got to use this because every time we go on vacation, we go to the ocean. So I loved it.
yeah, you can't find that in Colorado. I don't
No,
think.
no,
I don't think there's that big of a sea.
no.
So we scroll down. You have some featured suppliers here,
Yep.
and then kind of a video introduction, which I think is kind of a great way to kind of introduce people.
Mhm,
You kind of talk a little bit in here about like what people can expect from the website. But
mhm.
let's go up here and click on one of these. So we'll do Access Parks. I love Tim Routes at Access Parks. So
Yeah,
we'll
it's
click on
awesome.
Access Parks here. So this is kind of what a profile page would look like, and people can people sign it, as a vendor, can they sign up for this for free? How does the whole profile thing work, I
Yeah,
guess?
so it's 100% for free. So my idea behind this was to just create a one-stop spot. That's why I went with the whole terminology of a spot.
Yeah.
If you notice the logo too, if you see up there in the top left corner,
Yep.
it's actually the spot logo that you would see like on a map or something, a digital
Mhm.
map. But if you look inside of it, it's actually the little search magnifying glass that people notice whenever they're searching for something. So
Yeah.
kind of one of those little fun things I did with the logo. But yeah, it's absolutely free. And in this case, with looking at Access Parks, his is just inquiry based. So Tim went through when he set it up and checked off all the things that he's a part of. The cool thing about it too is it's location based as well. So if there's a park that wants to find a supplier that's within a say 25-mile radius, they can actually look to where they're located for it. So the,
Okay.
the entire site is search keyword based as well. So I always
All right.
encourage everybody signing up to put in the search keywords.
Yeah, and then we go to Azure here. Gene's gonna kill me. I think I murdered that name.
He's awesome.
So he, I met this company at the glamping show
Mhm.
last year, and they do 3D printed homes. But you can kind of see what else you can do here. So he's uploaded videos of some of the 3D printed homes
Yeah,
that
some
they've
pictures.
done. So you can kind of highlight your product that way. He's even put a price.
Mhm.
So it looks like maybe the base price of a unit's $49.9,
Yeah.
and then you can buy it here. I guess that's one of the unique things about your site too, is it kind of connects and allows people to buy things on here. Correct?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the way I
Okay.
designed it is it's all safe and secure. It uses the merchant processor Stripe. So all you do is you go on, you create your account, you connect your account through the Stripe system. So in this case with Azure, even though it's a $50,000 3D printer, I mean, some people won't have a credit card with that high of a limit, but you can connect your bank account to it. So if you do have the cash available, you can use ACH through it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can purchase directly through it. And the great thing about it is all the transactions are secure. I cannot say that word enough. It's safe and secure.
Yeah. So I guess we can go to, you can search listings, so you
Mhm.
have the ability to kind of find things based on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So theoretically, if I click electrical, of course, Utility Supply Group is going to pop up.
Yep.
So, and then so that's kind of a neat little way for people who are using the site to be able to find products and different amenities and
Yeah, if
things.
you go up to the top there, Ben, where it says
Yep,
search listings, click on that search
yep,
listings or right in that area and just type in like association.
yeah,
And the great thing about it is since it's keyword based, when you type in association, it's going to bring up everything that people have the word
yeah,
association located. So, and my goal with this is to help promote associations. I definitely don't want to take suppliers away from them. So, for example, Bobby Cornwell with the Florida, Alabama, he was the very first person to sign up on Supplier Spot. He loved the idea, he loved the concept. And I kept explaining to him that, hey, my goal is to help promote your association. And some of the people, like Azure, for example, when I was talking to them, I said, hey, there's a really good show, the Florida, Alabama show. Have you thought about it? He's like, yeah, we thought about it. I said, hey, let me do an email introduction with you to Bobby Cornwell. And now Azure is coming to the show. So, the
yeah.
goal for me is to make sure that everybody's getting promoted.
Yeah, and then you have an about page. You have some blogs here. Some different, consumer focused, or even like park owner focused, getting your RV parking campground ready for the season.
Yeah.
You have a conferences and trade show. This is kind of a neat little page for park owners,
Yeah.
or people looking for information on all of that. The association gatherings, a contact page.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is great. I guess one of the other things here. Let me stop sharing this. One of the other things I wanted to ask about is there the ability for park owners to be able to buy and sell stuff on here, or is it mainly just like vendor companies?
No, that's one of the great things about it. Before I launched this, I reached out to several park owners to get their
Yeah.
thoughts about it. And some of them that I talked to when I was explaining the whole concept, one person specifically, it's with Whiskey Creek Family Campground. They are
Yep.
awesome, her and her husband. She mentioned that they had this deep fryer in their cafe they weren't using anymore. And she's like, hey,
Wow.
can I post it on there and see if somebody wants to buy it? And I said, sure. They ended up selling it to somebody locally anyways. But the whole point of it is that's what struck the idea for me to say, yeah, if park owners have some things laying around their park that they're simply not using anymore or they're upgrading. Like, for example, I'm currently working with a park that they're upgrading to the new Wi-Fi meters through Wild Energy. And Wild Energy is
Mm-hmm.
one of the ones here on Supplier Spot. So
Yeah.
they can take their old meters that are still perfectly good, they're just not the Wi-Fi ones, and throw them on Supplier Spot here and sell them to parks who are expanding their park or need some new meters. So it can be anybody can sell on here, even if, like, say, Ben, you're no longer using your kayak anymore. I'm not sure if you have one, but we're just saying it. Say you're not using your kayak anymore, even though you're not a park owner or supplier, you could put it on here and say, hey, I have this kayak. Would any RV park owner want to buy this kayak for their park to rent out to campers? So it's basically just a global type marketplace where anybody could sell items through here to help out parks and campgrounds.
So you mentioned some other sites. There are some other sites that do similar to this. I guess what's the difference between maybe another site that's similar and Supplier Spot? I guess I know we just talked about the buying and selling. I think that's probably a unique
Mm-hmm.
thing aspect to this website. I guess are there any other unique things,
Unique.
aspects of it?
I mean, I guess the unique part of it is how I really just gear it towards RV parks and campgrounds. The main reason why I started this was, as you mentioned earlier, I used to work for a park management software company.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to stay in this industry. I traveled around and I met you, Ben, for the first time, I think, at the glamping show 2 years ago. I traveled around to so many shows the last 2 years that I met so many great people. And I said, I really want to stay in this industry. What can I do that would help this industry and allow me to stay in it and continue going to these trade shows? So the uniqueness of it is I just really gear it towards the park owners, the suppliers. I made so many great connections and a lot of them turn into friendships now with other suppliers out there. And I just keep in touch with them, like you, man. I keep in touch with you,
Yeah.
I think, fairly
Yeah.
often. You and Jennifer and everybody down there at Woodall's. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I want to stay into it. So the uniqueness of the site is I really gear it towards the RV parks and campgrounds because I have a passion for it. I'm an avid camper myself, so I just really wanted to stay in this industry and make something that would work for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I guess I think park owners out there are going to be like, okay, the everything sounds free. I guess is there anything that costs any? I guess how do you make money? Like
Yeah.
what?
So that's where the key comes in. So the only way I make money is if anybody sells something through the site. I take a 10%
Okay.
transaction fee. So if somebody goes on, like, for example, if somebody goes on like Liquefied, they do the RV toilet treatment.
Yeah.
If they sell something on there, I'll get a small 10% out of it. Right now, I'm doing this everything called bootstrapped, which means I'm paying for everything out of my own pocket to make this work because it does cost money for this platform to run. So
Yeah.
right now, I'm not charging anything for listings or anything because I want to make sure that it's going to work. I
Okay.
want to have the confidence that the site is going to be successful. And if it's successful, if people are selling items, if they once they sell an item, they make money, I make a little bit of money. So that's how it's working right now.
What's the process for park owners to come on and like kind of review a company, I guess? Is there like a verification process for that?
Yeah.
How do park owners do that, I guess?
Yeah, so that's the key thing here is it's not a review site. That's one of the really things I want
Yeah.
to put on. But
Yep.
it has the capability of doing a review. For example, say I go on and I purchase something from we'll go back to liquefied. If I bought a
Yeah.
product from them and I communicated with them, they sent me out the items, I had it within a few days, I could go on now and write a review saying, "Hey, the guys over at Liquefied were awesome. I had my product within a few days. They were great to work with." That's how it comes down to. But I do the verification process as well. So if somebody just doesn't like a company, they can't just go on here and write a review saying, "Don't go with this company, they're horrible." Plus, I monitor that as well. So if they're being nasty or inappropriate, I'm not going to allow the review to go on there. But the site's not really geared for reviews. It's more geared for purchasing items and finding services for their RV parks and campgrounds.
So what are you focused on, right? I mean, what's the future look like? I guess, you have the website. I imagine you're actively approaching vendors, getting them to sign up and create listings, and you're probably on the other end trying to get park owners engaged with the website as well.
Yeah.
So, what's your focus maybe for the rest of this year, I guess?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ben. So my focus, as you know, Ben, in this industry, and I think every supplier knows, it takes a lot of trust for RV park and campground owners, especially the mom and pop ones, to really
Hmm.
trust a supplier and get to know them. I learned that in the last 2 years just from traveling around with the company I used to be with. And so my goal is to really get that trust with them to say, "Hey, this site is geared for you guys, some place where you can go to one stop
Yeah.
spot." So my future is I'm going to a lot of these trade shows, and I'm not sure if you know this or not, Ben, but I have a DJ business here in Colorado Springs that I started. It's really going to date me. Back in 1999 was my very first. That's when I first got my trade name. But part of my DJ business is I'm a part of a lot of the local hotels as their preferred vendor. So I've done so many bridal shows over the past years, which is exactly like a campground trade show. I went and set up a booth, talked to them about my DJ business. So where I'm going with this whole story is I got into doing trivia for a lot of corporate events, and my friends own some local pub and grills around the Colorado Springs area. So I
Okay.
found an electronic system where I can actually do the trivia with them using their phones as the buzzer. So I
Okay.
I can bring up the screen up onto like a TV or like a big screen and put the
Yeah.
questions up there and they can buzz in from their phone. So the future of Supplier Spot is I'm actually going to be hosting trivia as part of some suppliers sessions at upcoming trade shows. So for
Wow.
example, if there's a sponsored supplier and or suppliers, I should say more than one, I can get questions from those specific suppliers and then implement them into my system. And then park owners can come and they can come together as a team or they can play by themselves if they want. If they have a team, they use one device, of course, to buzz in on. But then they can learn a little bit about those suppliers. Like, for example, I always go to Heidi with the Utility Supply Group. She's awesome to work with. But she sent
Yeah.
me over some questions about, what's the appropriate amperage that you need for a 50 amp breaker or the not amperage, but a wire gauge. What's the
Yeah.
appropriate wire gauge for a 50 amp breaker? And questions like that because it's promoting Utility Supply Group and the park owners are learning a little bit about, hey, I got to make sure I have this gauge wire for my 50 amp breakers that I'm building out. So it's
Okay.
going to be a lot of fun. It's interactive. I got a couple of them already scheduled coming up this year. So that's the future of Supplier Spot is really promoting suppliers. Another cool thing, this is me blabbing a little bit, Ben, so I hope you don't mind, but
No.
another cool thing about the trivia session that I do is I can actually show the park owners the same system that I use for trivia. And then at the end of the trivia session, they could come up to me and I can give them some information and they can take trivia back to their park and have trivia nights with their campers. It's a real easy system to set up. You use your own little router, so you don't have to have Wi-Fi or anything like that, and everybody connects to your router. And so
Yeah.
that way I'm showing them something they can take back to their parks as well. So there's a lot of good things with it.
Yeah, definitely. I can just imagine you doing karaoke at a wedding. So,
I can do karaoke too. I have a software to do that as well. So maybe we'll do that one day.
you have the website supplierspot.com. Is there any other way for people to get in contact with you? You have a sign up page on there. Is there an email or anything?
Yeah, so of course there's a sign up page on there. There's a contact page as well. They can fill out a form,
Yep.
or the email is my first name, Bobby, Bobby at supplierspot.com. Got to make sure that
Okay.
they know that there's an extra S in there, suppliers for
Yep.
more than one, plural, supplierspot.com. And yeah, they can email me anytime if they have any questions. I'm just excited. I got already like 58 suppliers and association members on there right now, and I have
Oh,
a
that's
few
awesome.
park owners that have signed up too that are looking through things. So yeah, being launched just in March, I'm real excited about the direction that it's going, and I'm just excited to move forward with it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Bobby, for coming on and talking a little
Yeah.
bit about Supplier Spot. And thanks everyone for watching, and we will be back again soon.